everyone, my name is Dana. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm doing a little bit of an unboxing and a product review of the Fairwin leather dog leash. So let me show you up close. You can see that's what it is. It's just in a box. It's, that's it. It's super simple. I have not obviously opened this. I haven't seen the product yet. Backstory is I had a leather leash of my own that was perfect. The thing about leather leashes is you have to break them in. Like, they don't come nice and flexible. So I had mine since I was in fifth or sixth grade. I used to dog sit, and one of my neighbors who I dog sat for let me compete with her dog in obedience. I'm gonna put a picture of Ace. His name was Ace. And if it weren't for her, I would not be a dog trainer. It's all thanks to her. So that leash I had since training Ace, because I bought my own competition equipment for myself. I really wanted a dog. Even before I wanted to train, I knew I wanted animals in my life. I've worked with horses pretty much my whole life. I've worked with dogs, not as long as horses, but for a very long time. And obviously I've invested a lot more time into the dog training scene once I got started. That being said, and this was completely my mistake, I'm not dissing my client at all in any way, but I had let my client use a leash because their leash that they had brought wasn't training appropriate, and I should have let them use one of my not competition leashes, but I didn't feel right going to my car and grabbing a different leash. I had my competition obedience leather leash in the building already. I said, here, can you use this? And the dog chewed through it. And I went, oh shoot. So that was on me, because I knew this dog had a chewing thing. That was one of the things we were working on. But the leash they were using could have physically harmed them. So we went with that option. And he didn't chew through it completely, but it's to the point where I no longer feel confident in its structural integrity, and also I cannot compete with a leash like that. I just can't. So I'm biting the bullet. I got a new leather leash, and we'll see how much I like it. I'm really hoping that the leather leash that I had was like very narrow, very thin, very dainty, and it was really hard for me to get. That was okay. So already a critique. Where I purchased this leash, it was very difficult for me to get a feel for how big it was, like, and obviously most people who are buying leashes are not looking for competition, but for me, the easier it is to handle, the lighter, the more flexible it is, the better, because Ammo works better with me off leash than on leash. She's a border collie. So because of that, the less it feels like we have a leash when we're competing, the easier it is. But anyways, I'm gonna unbox this very petite package and we'll see. Alright, so yes, offhand, I can tell you right now, this is way too big, so I'll probably have to return it and get a different one. Or I guess I can let a client use this one. But yeah, this is too big of a leather leash. And had I known that it was this big, I would have gotten the small, but I didn't want the small to be too small. So I was like, oh, a medium, it'll be perfect. But you can see, anyways, while we're here, that this, it's not flexible right now. It's formed to the way it was. And this braiding, this is nice too. But all of this, like, this is so stiff because of its leather. Like, it has to be broken in. So because of that, you can't just use it right off the bat for training. Actually, this will be perfect for Gunner. I'll use this for Gunner, and then I'll get something different. Well, Gunner and Buddy, and then I'll get something different for Ammo. But yeah, this is a good leash for Gunner or Buddy sized dogs. They're 50 pounds. This is more than enough for them. But for Ammo, she needs something little. She needs something petite. But like I said, that was my one criticism. The leash quality is great. It's very nice quality. Once it is flexible, once it's broken in, it'll be great. But it's just what they were using to advertise this leash. I wish they had it in comparison to a human hand. Like, if I saw a picture of this I would have known right away, no, that's way too big of hardware. This hardware is way too big for ammo. This braiding is way too big for ammo. Oh, she'd be dragged almost by it. But if I just had something to kind of compare to, obviously all human hands are different sizes, but at least it's a general, like, okay, here's a person, to human relevance, here's what it looks like. But yeah, so that's my one criticism, but quality-wise, it's really nice. And it wasn't super expensive. I think I don't even remember what I paid for it. But yes, so would I recommend their product? Yes. Unless you have a very strong pulling dog that's like 70 plus pounds, would the medium be necessary? I would say probably not. I would go with the small. This is very excessive for me. Now, I will say, to each their own. Each person prefers different things. Me personally, this is too much leash. This is too much leash. I don't prefer it. But like I said, that's just, they probably had the dimensions. They probably had how like wide it was. I'm a very visual person. They could say what it is and I'd go, huh. And that would be that. So with that being said, that is my little unboxing and product review of this. Once again, it's a Fairwin leather dog leash, and I'm not sponsored by them. I purchased this product, so that's my criticism. If something goes horribly, horribly wrong with it, I will put it in the comments down below. But as of now, it's a leather leash. You can't go too wrong with a leather leash. The braiding looks nice. That's the part that's always a little eh. I wish this part laid more flat, but once again, once it all gets broken in, it'll be better. And I guess if I had one other criticism, it would be this as well. And my other leash had it. It was braided differently, where the handle went like this in relevance to the braiding, as opposed to with it, it went opposite of it. And obviously I know that would probably be more difficult, but I really like just holding the leash like this a lot of times. And the way it is now, especially with it being stiff, look at that. It's like the edges are scratchy. They're like a little bit sandpaper, so that'll probably be a little bit of a negative user experience until it does break in. Especially, yeah, it doesn't have any flex to it right now. So if I get pulled, that will definitely be a pressure point on my tiny thing that I have here where my wrist connects to my hand. It's like a weird bump, I guess. So that's probably my other criticism, but it's not gonna be broken for a while. I can tell you, it's not gonna break. But anyways, with that being said, thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!